Well, I was talking to my business partner here, Putin the Cat, and considering he's Putin the Cat, famous Russian, he wanted me to relate to you what happened historically with the Russian ruble. And, it's like I pointed out with history, it's like if nothing happens, they don't record nothing, basically. It's like from this time to this time, nothing happened. Then if all this, the SHIT hits the fan, then they record all the events. This happened, that happened, this happened. So, Mr. Putin the Cat, he likes, he don't mind if I hold him, but if I'm going someplace, but once I stand still, he's like, forget it, He's like one of these cats of action. He like can't stand still. Anyway, the ruble, if you go from like 1710 or antiquity or whatever, if you want to call it, all the way up to the Bolshevik Revolution, approximately, like a little bit after that. It was in 1917, the Bolshevik Revolution. I know, financed by some of the Western elite also, besides, to get rid of the czars and all that stuff, whatever. A ruble was standardized at 28 ounces of silver. So, like, kind of compare that to the United States. Nothing happened. We've been going along here. The dollar's been around forever. But Mr. Cracks in the facade, use a little common sense, man. I'm not trying to play doom and gloom because these guys playing doom and gloom are trying to get rich quick. You're holding silver in case of a real problem. But basically back all the way from 1921 back 500 years, the standard ruble was 28 grams of silver. It's been money forever, right? And then in 1922, get this, and this happened over the Russian history, so Putin the Cat wanted me to tell you about this. In 1922, the first of several denominations took place. This is like when the United States was under great prosperity. There was like havoc going on in Russia. And actually, politically, in the 1920s, under Calvin Coolidge and Warren Harding, they would not recognize the Soviet Union. They said the legitimate government was not the one by the Bolshevik Revolution. It wasn't until FDR that came in later. Then he recognized it as the legitimate government. And he called Joseph Stalin, Uncle Joe Stalin, like he was a nice guy. He was a freaking egotistical murdering pig. Basically, the Iron Man, who was very short in stature. But that's really how it works, man. So the Russians got screwed over big time in 1922 when the new ruble was equal to 10,000 old rubles. So imagine if you had $10,000, you think, I'm keeping these fiat notes, and they come out with a new one that says, well, maybe it won't go that extreme, but say it was 10 to 1. That would be bad, right? That would be bad, wouldn't it? Then, that was in 1922, early, well, during the year, basically. Third ruble comes out in 1923 into early 24. So they go with the antiquity money for 500 years. They give them 10,000 rubles, and they wreck it. 10,000 rubles is one new ruble. Then they go 100 of those rubles that change into 1 ruble. That's one. So when 10,000, they got divided by 1/10,000th. Then they got divided by another 100. So your money went down by a millionth, from 1920 to 1924. It went down by a million. So if you had $1 million or a million rubles, you had 1 ruble. How's that? See, this is really why you're keeping silver, Sherlocks. You guys with the paper, do what the hell you want. I ain't really trying to reach the crowd, but I'm trying to keep the psychology of the people that are into silver right now. Stay cool, stay calm. I don't think it's going to go to this success, but then again, I think the Russians didn't think it was going to go to success. The Germans never thought it was going to go to that success in the 1920s, right? This was after World War I, so they had a lot of garbage going on. So who the hell knows what's going to happen? Anyway, the third redemption happened in 1924, and it was like a gold ruble was a value of 50,000 rubles at the previous time. So, like, if you went from 1917 to 1924, a million rubles equal to one. Then if you had one of those, you had 50,000 of those, the newest ones, it went down to one again. Then in 1947 and 1961, they're revalued at 1/10 their face value. I don't know, this might happen, but you know, when this is happening, this is not going to be like, oh yeah, yeah. You know, it's not going to be nice. I can tell you that right now. So I'm putting out a lot of other videos on different things because, you know, discussing the drama of things is not really that helpful. I'm trying to get this out in a very common sense way, you know? And, you know, I don't really, you know, if people don't want to buy silver, don't. I mean, I ain't selling it. I don't give a damn. Do what the hell you want. Anyway, I mean, really. Do I have any coins for sale? Am I telling you to go invest with my brokerage account or some crap? I am not. Do what the hell you want, though. Maybe I'm wrong, though. You know, I don't know. This is what happened in Russia. How do I know this is going to happen in the United States? I don't know. I mean, it looks that way because they're getting into debt over their eyeballs, and if the interest rates are starting to creep up real slow, that might happen. I don't know. And if the Hindenburg effect, these 6 Hindenburg omens that happened over the last several months, if that makes the markets go down bad, you know, if that portends the market's going down bad, they're going to go QE up like, you know, on steroids, like Japan did, and it's going to start eroding the value of the dollar. So, I don't know. I just look at it common sense. So, you know, do what the hell you want. Some people disagree. I know, like the people in this channel, most people are like, yeah, silver, silver. But there's people that think it's BS, you know, it's stupid. So, I don't think it's that stupid. Anyway. The Soviet ruble in 1961 was formerly equal to just under a gram of gold. But the caveat was you could never exchange your rubles for real gold. It wasn't allowed to the general public. So what good is that, right? And then in the 1990s, they had a lot of devaluation. And basically it went down where 1,000 rubles went to 1 ruble. So this is Russia, man. It's like they were doing great, actually, probably way before the Western elite, a certain Western elite, financed and helped communism in the Bolshevik Revolution. And ever since that time, man, they've been getting screwed up big time. Really, really. I don't know, that's the fact. And you know, Vladimir Putin, he's a human that's greedy. He wants billions of dollars. You know, if he's got $30 billion, that ain't enough. He wants $300 billion. Whereas Putin the cat, he doesn't care about money. He cares about the human race. And, you know, he just would care, like, maybe I'll have some better cat food or something, or some more toys to play with. He's a cool guy, and he cares about humanity. So go with Putin the cat, and but this is a really simple lesson as to what could happen. Just, I mean, 500 years, right? Everything was the same in Russia. And then they had the Bolshevik Revolution in 1917. Then it took like a few years after that where it got down, the currency got devalued, where it was like 1% of the old ruble. So what do you do, man? What do you do? I think in this, you know, what I say common sense, though. I mean, it's pretty obvious. You know, silver and gold and all the other stuff had to pull back. There was a little conspiracy going on here with little conspiracy, you know, with putting out a bigger precious metal supply through the electronic markets to drive the price down. And you know, it's typical 101, man. So stick with your silver. But I said I'm going to put out more videos. I put some out on frequencies or zapping and stuff like that. I don't know, some people are like not looking at that, but I don't want to play that up too much because I'm very suspicious of people in the alternative health business. They could be just as bad as the established doctors, and actually established doctors can be very good too. You know, they could actually be very good ones. So, you know, just that they're not aware of this alternative stuff. I try to be very accurate and common sense about a lot of things. I'm going to put out other videos on more on health and how to do stuff, not just silver, but I expect silver when it's going up, I think it's probably going to hit some resistance big time at 26. It may not, but it makes a lot of sense because it hit 26 resistance a whole bunch of times on the way down, and it's like, on a way, it might be timed around the time this Hindenburg omens all come about and the markets tank, so silver maybe get up to 26 and go down to 22. I don't know. It might. But look at the history of what happens in so many countries, man. Russian people get screwed over big time. I don't know. I don't really know if what they think about Vladimir Putin. I think some people think he's great. I know what it is, man. He's a bunch of garbage. But they probably, well, just like anything, what can you do about it, right? It's like, what can I do about, the NSA? Nothing. Nothing, right? So if I'm a Russian in Russia and, Vladimir Putin's in charge, and I think he's just screwed up, crook, I can't even say that if I was a Russian, right? So, anyway. But, man, they talk about getting screwed over with your money. But, the big thing with these Russians is when they got slammed on their currency, the vast majority of them knew how to, hey, man, here, gross, we got the chickens here to laying eggs, we got cows, we got, we can go hunt stuff, fish. What's going to happen to the Americans with the food stamps? Oh, boy. And it don't have to be 100 to 1. It don't even have to be, 10 to 1 or 5 to 1. It could just be 1 for 2. If the currency gets devalued by half, that is going to really clobber the hell out of people. So, I don't know. Hold on to your silver. And don't listen to those silver pumpers because, man, they're starting to come out of the woodwork again. It's a really good concept, and that's the reason I'm putting this out, because it's going to play out. But I don't know. There's sharks in the silver world too, and they're about as bad as J.P. Morgan. So watch from all angles. Anyway, that's all I got to say.